Hi, my name is Helen Pinkerton, Operations Manager of Prom Night Events Sydney. We're the only event management company in Australia exclusively dedicated to organising and hosting school formals at the prestige end of the school formal market. I've held many meetings in my office with literally hundreds of committee students, parents and teachers, and it honestly shocks me when I hear of some of the things that venues are trying to sell you in their all-inclusive school formal packages. There's a lot you need to look out for, which is why we've put together this video to help you focus on the misconceptions about formal packages in the Sydney market and what you really need to look out for. Prom Night Events has a 100% success rate with every formal we've conducted in the last 16 years, so that means we really do have the best tips when it comes to formals. Elliot Kleiner is the CEO of Prom Night Events and is a nationally renowned expert in the field of school formal event management. For many years, Elliot has been called upon by the state and federal government departments, police, industry associations, schools, insurance companies and teachers' conferences to provide his expertise relating to school formals and the problems which can often appear when organising them. Elliot will talk to you today about all of these misconceptions and why it is so critical that you know what is in your package before you book anything.
If you're shopping around for a school formal package in Sydney, there's tons of marketing material that's going to jump out at you. There are some really serious traps and misconceptions you need to watch out for. The really hard part is trying to figure out what's going to be the best value for you. Everyone's selling something. They all seem at face value to be pretty similar. Lucky for you, we've done all of that research for you and we've come up with really easy to understand facts that'll help you out. You may not be aware of the different sides of the formal market, but it's a little like buying a car. There's the budget end of the market, like Japanese economical cars, and there's the prestige end of the market, like German luxury cars. The budget end of the market is about where 80% of people buy, and the prestige end is where the lucky 20% go. Most of the aggressive advertising material in the formal market comes from the budget end. So that's going to represent about 80% of the material you'll see. That's kind of how we've compiled this report for you. All the facts and figures I'm going to present have come directly from the advertising materials of the most commonly used formal venues in Sydney. All of the budget end of the market is where these venues are. These venues collectively host most of the formals that take place each year, and they get that business by using this kind of advertising material. Now, the first thing to be aware of are the terms and phrases you'll see in advertising that are blatantly untrue and misleading. I'll make no apologies for saying this. Lots of people out there are simply liars, and they'll say whatever's necessary to get you to sign up for their product. It's a harsh statement, but it's true nonetheless. So when it comes to selling formals, here are some of the classics that you'll see. Complete package, all-inclusive price, unbeatable value. Now, these seem like fairly harmless sales words, but it's actually not legal to use terms like that unless you can prove they're true. Basically, because they do influence people's decisions. So let's just look at each of these first so you know exactly what they're supposed to mean, and then I'll show you the comparisons about pricing and value that might shock you. Complete package. What that's supposed to mean is that absolutely all the elements necessary for your formal are there. If you've done any of your own research, you'll know that a successful formal needs the following things. 1. Suitable venue. 2. Food and beverage. 3. Entertainment and music. 4. Photography. 5. Security. 6. Licenses and permits. 7. Insurances. 8. Ticketing. And 9. Someone over the age of 21 to put this all together and run it properly. Now, looking at these 9 items, the first 4 are the ones that you want to make it a formal. The last 5 are the ones you need to make it a legal formal according to various state laws. Now, be careful. When someone sells you what they call a complete package, all, not some, but all of these elements must be included. Now let's look at all-inclusive price. Not only is everything that's promised in a complete package supposed to be included, but it's also all got to be included in the one ticket price for the formal. All-inclusive means all-inclusive. That means inclusive of GST, surcharges, staff costs, booking fees, and the total cost of every element of the package being offered. Here's the shock. Of all the most popular venues advertising complete packages and all-inclusive prices, the percentage of them that actually sell a package that already contains all of these elements at an all-inclusive price is, wait for it, 0. None of them actually deliver that promise. None. Now let's look at unbeatable value. What that's supposed to mean is that whoever's selling their package using that phrase is saying that the package that they're offering is impossible to be bettered on quality, features or price by anyone else, guaranteed. Here's the shock. All of the most popular venues advertising unbeatable value, the percentage of them that are actually delivering that is, wait for it, 0. None. None of them actually deliver that. None. Okay, so it's a little bit of rhetoric, but these are the facts. Now I'm going to reveal some of the most interesting statistics and figures that will help support your understanding of what I'm saying. Remembering that all the facts and figures I'm going to present have come directly from the advertising materials of the most commonly used formal venues in Sydney, all at the budget end of the market. Prices, based on the average number of guests attending a school formal, the average advertised price of a formal ticket is $84. Now I'm just going to pop that up on the screen so that you can remember that. Now, of all the venues surveyed, 0% included GST in that advertised price, making the actual price of a formal $92 per ticket. Okay, so I'll put that on the screen too. So far, so good. Of all the venues surveyed, an average of 63%, now that's almost 2/3, charge extra for either DJs, security, photography, hidden fees and charges, or all of the above. 0% included all of these things in the advertised ticket price. So by doing the math and adding the cost of only the essential elements of the formal I mentioned earlier, that's security, music, insurances, licensing, photography, dinner, drinks, and all charges, the actual, final, all-inclusive ticket price, average across the board, this is the average mind you, came to $123 per ticket. Now that's what people who buy the $84 package actually end up paying once everything's settled. So just keep that in your mind as well. In fact, let's pop that on the screen so you keep it fresh in your mind for a minute. Okay, so let's leave that all aside for a minute and have a look at something different, and this will all make sense in a couple of minutes. Now we've also surveyed the prestige end of the market using exactly the same criteria, and it's kind of interesting what came out in that survey. Now keep in mind that the venues at the budget end are all 3 or 3.5 star places, more designed for conferences than formals. The prestige end of the market, however, are all 5-star major venues with internationally recognised brandings and superior levels of service and luxury. Okay, after taking into account all of the most desired and active 5-star venues in the formal market, the same package of essential inclusions has an all-inclusive complete package average price of $126 per ticket. Okay, so to clarify and pinpoint exactly what we're saying here, once you add all of the essential ingredients for a proper formal, the difference between the average price per ticket for a budget formal and a prestige formal is just $3. $3 difference. So you can do precisely the same research that we did, you'll get precisely the same result. According to the law, we couldn't say this in a public domain unless it was true. So here it is again. The difference between the average cost of a budget formal and a prestige formal is just $3 per ticket. So let's look at a couple of other issues with budget venues. All of them ask for a security bond. This can be anywhere from $1,000 to $15,000 depending on the venue. On this issue, firstly, you have to ask yourself why they'd need a bond to cover them for things like damage. Well, the answer is because they probably don't have proper insurance. This is because maybe they don't want to pay for it, or because maybe they're not licensed to be doing formals in the first place and their insurers won't cover it. If they want a bond, be wary. We also surveyed many formal committees who have previously paid a security bond to a budget venue, and you want to know what many of them said? They never got all of their bond money back. All they said was it was a rip-off, revenue raising. The next issue is compulsory parents or teachers. Many venues demand that a certain number of supervising adults attend the formal. Why do they do this? Because they don't provide adequate security, and they want your own people to act as guards. Now, parents and teachers, no matter how responsible they are, can't carry out security duties at a formal. That's illegal. Only properly licensed, trained, insured security companies can do that. If a venue insists on adult supervision, be wary. Why am I telling you this? Because I want you to consider buying a prestige formal. If you're thinking about having your formal with a prestige branding like Hilton, Sheraton, Crown Plaza, Park Royal, Sofitel, Radisson, or any of the other 30 most desired venues around Sydney, there's only one company with the preferred access to all of them. That's Prom Night Events. For the last 16 years, Prom Night Events has been the national market leader for school formal industry, and we only conduct prestige formals. We don't use budget venues, and we don't compromise on luxury or quality. So if you're about to buy a budget package with a budget venue, it's probably worth considering an upgrade to a prestige package at a luxury venue. Even if you've already booked, signed a contract, and even paid a non-refundable deposit to a budget venue, it's worth a phone call to Prom Night Events to see what's possible.
So when looking for a school formal package, you should now be aware that there are lots of things you need to consider before you sign up and put your money down. Here at Prom Night Events, we offer a free formal planning consultancy which will give you the chance to actually sit down with a trained expert who will listen to your dreams and wishes, work out your budgets and numbers, then tailor the perfect prestige formal package to suit you. We'll take you on virtual tours of all of the most suitable venues on our program so you can see what they look like all set up formal style. We start with a base package which already has everything you need to ensure your formal will be a success. From there, we can add inclusions from the largest list available. When we're done, we hand you a customized information pack which will help with the whole decision-making process. This meeting will save you weeks and weeks of comparing venues and packages in one go, and it's totally free. Prom Night Events aims to provide high schools and formal organisers the highest possible standards of excellence in venues, choice, features and inclusions, while facilitating the most outstanding levels of customer support and service at the most competitive prices within the industry with 100% legal compliance. We guarantee to match or beat the quality and price of any formal package from any legitimate competitor offering the same package features. When we say complete package, all-inclusive price and unbeatable value, we really mean it. In fact, we're guaranteeing it, in writing. If anyone else you find is willing to match or beat all of that, book with them.